Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, The Appalachian Home. So today I thought it would be fun to do some Valentine's Day decor. I'm going to be working on this tiered tray decor, and all this you can make using your Cricut maker. So here are the projects we're going to be making today. I'm going to start off with this Cupid's Bakery sign, and I'm going to be using several different materials. I'm going to be using some basswood, some permanent vinyl, a wood sign from Hobby Lobby, some glue, and some paint. So to start off with, I have this design in Design Space, and I'll leave a link to this exact design. You can just go on into Design Space, download this design, and hit make it, and you can just go from there. You don't have to do any designing. I'm using some fonts and images I found in Design Space. I've already attached all the red vinyl together and all the black vinyl together, so it's all going to be together when you go to make it. I'm also going to be using some basswood for the little rolling pin cutout. You can change this to vinyl if you don't have basswood, or if you don't want to use basswood for this part of the project. So first I'm starting out just by cutting some pieces of vinyl that's going to fit on my mat to create my little vinyl decals for the sign. I'm using black and red permanent vinyl. This is actually a dark red. Now I'm just going to follow the instructions on Design Space and place the next color of vinyl on my mat and go ahead and cut that out. For this design on this black portion of the vinyl, there's some really thin parts that are in the lettering. So I'm making my sign 8 by 8. So if you're making a sign that's smaller than that, you may want to kind of adjust the thickness of your lettering. You can do that in offset to make these little thin tendrils that go around the letters of bakery a little thicker, because they were really thin even for an 8 by 8 sign. So just keep that in mind when you go to cut out your own sign. Now I'm ready for the last mat, which is the basswood, and I'm just using a scrap piece of basswood for this little bitty rolling pin cutout. I used this on another project, but normally you would use a strong grip mat for your basswood. I didn't have a strong grip mat that was still sticky, so I'm just taping this down with some masking tape to make sure that it stays in place while it's cutting. And you want to go ahead and make sure you move all your rollers out of the way. I'm also exchanging my fine point blade for the knife blade, because that's what you're going to need whenever you cut basswood, and it goes in your right hand tool slot on your machine. Now I'm just changing the material settings to basswood, and I'm using 1/16 inch basswood, and I'm going to head and press go. You want to make sure that the basswood completely cuts out. For this particular project, it says it's going to do 14 times cut, so I'm going to leave it in there the whole time just to make sure that it cuts out completely through. So now we can finish our project. I'm just going to paint my sign white, and again, this is an 8 by 8 sign I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just using a regular interior paint on the front of this, and you just want to let it dry at least a couple hours so that your vinyl sticks when you're placing your stickers. And I lost the footage of painting my little rolling pin red, but I did paint my rolling pin a dark red, and I'm just going to glue that on there with a hot glue gun. I like to use Gorilla Hot glue when I'm doing projects. Our second project is this Basswood mason jar with the little love hearts and sprinkles. This is probably my favorite project. We're going to be using Basswood again to cut out the mason jars. I'm also using this craft plastic that I got from Amazon as a little cover sheet to hold in all of my sprinkles. It's really thick and clear, and I really love this product. This project too is going to be available for you to go straight to if you have Cricut Design Space. You can go ahead and get all the materials. I've left a description of everything you're going to need for this project. So when you go into Design Space, you just want to go ahead and get rid of all your text, and then you're going to be ready to make your project. It's going to come up with all of your mats for your vinyl, your plastic, and also the last one for your basswood. I am turning mine around vertical and placing it all the way to the left so it doesn't interfere with my rollers. Other than that, I'm ready to go. I'm going to tape this down just like I did our first project and cut these out. So I wanted to show you a prime example of what happens when you don't let it cut the full 14 passes. My computer actually shut off during the cutting process, and this is what happened. I had to kind of pop them out of the basswood. If you let it cut the full amount of time, this won't happen. So after my basswood was finished, I went ahead and I placed this 12 by 12 plastic sheet on my mat, and I changed my settings in Cricut Design Space to plastic packaging, and that's going to cut 3 times around your design. I went ahead, you'll see me pressing the go button a couple more times before I unload my mat just to make sure it cuts all the way through. So all in all, I cut around this probably 9 passes around this plastic material. This is 0.007 inches thick, so it did take that many times to cut out this design. I just went ahead and cut out all of my vinyl as Cricut Design Space prompted me to do. Next, I'm going to paint the top 2 layers of basswood white, and I'm also painting the bottom layer just a little bit of a different color. It's going to be a really light gray. Then we'll glue everything together. I went ahead and glued this first layer because my head was actually in the way and you couldn't see what I was doing. So I did glue the first layer onto the bottom layer, and next I'm going to use these sprinkles that I actually made out of clay. If you want a video on how to do that, it's super simple. I can do a video for you guys, but I'm just laying a thin layer. Whatever sprinkles you're using, these are fake. Just make sure that they're no thicker than your 1/16 inch basswood. So now I'm just kind of placing my decal on that plastic sheet. And I'm just going to take my hot glue and glue that down to the second piece of basswood. I'm using hot glue, but a tip would be to use wood glue because the hot glue actually made this a little bit thicker and you could actually see the hot glue around the edges. So I would suggest using a really thin layer of wood glue for this project. So now I'm gluing down the last and final layer, and after that I'm going to be tying some Valentine theme twine around the top of my mason jar. For our third project today, we're going to do these Valentine's mini rolling pins. These are so easy to do. I got these from Amazon, and I'm also using some Valentine themed twine. I'm using some printable vinyl to print out my designs instead of painting them today. This is the Cricut brand. So the first thing I did was go into Design Space and just typed in some heart patterns, and actually found a couple cute ones that I really liked. These are in a square, and I just resized them to the size I need. For these rolling pins, you're going to need a 3.75 by 2.75 area to cover your roller. And I'm changing these images to print then cut instead of a cut image. And for the second one, this heart pattern, I'm changing the color to pink, and I'm going to go back in and add a square that is the same dimensions underneath the pink, and I'm going to change the color to red just to give it a little different look. I'm going to align the red square in the heart pattern, then I'm going to flatten those two so that my hearts don't cut out. Next, I want to add some sprinkles over the top of this black heart pattern, so I just typed in sprinkles in the images and found exactly what I was looking for. The only thing I did different after I resized it to fit the 3.75 by 2.75 was go in and change all of the colors. So I'm selecting all of those purple ones. I'm just clicking over here on the right of my screen, and while holding the shift key, I'm just selecting all of the same color. Once you do that, you can go back into your colors and pick whatever color you want to change. Make sure you change this image as well to print then cut, and then I'm going to align these and flatten these two images as well. Once I have that done, I am going to align both of these images to the top and attach those to the mat, because I'm going to actually duplicate these so that I don't waste any paper when I go to print then cut. I'm actually going to be able to get two different copies of these printed out on one print then cut area. So once you have that done, you're ready to send this to your printer. I am just using my Canon Megatank printer, which I love. You want to make sure and turn off the bleed. I'm using my system dialog to print this out, and I'm also going to change the paper to matte photo paper because it gives really good quality, and you want to change your settings to high quality. I went ahead and placed this on my Cricut mat. Just follow the prompts on your screen and it'll tell you what to do. And now my machine is looking at those registration marks, and it's just going to cut out my squares. You definitely could just use a pair of scissors to do this as well, but I wanted some really straight, clean lines. But these cut out so good and so perfect. Now I'm just going to pull these off the sticker paper, and I'm going to just leave a little bit of an area to line up, and then I'm going to wrap these around my rolling pins. And now for the last Valentine's tiered tray project is these iron-on treat bags. These are so cute, and again, I'm going to leave a link for this exact project in Cricut Design Space. The only thing you'll need to do is mirror all of your images because we are going to be using iron-on material for this project. So I am going to be using glitter iron-on and also regular iron-on. So here, these are the three colors that I'm going to use. I'm going to be using this red glitter and this multi-pink glitter, which is so gorgeous, and then I'm just going to be using either this regular pink or hot pink iron-on material for this project. When you're working with iron-on material, you just want to make sure that you place the glossy side against your matte, and the matte side of the material, which is the back side, should be facing you when you go to cut that out. I am using these little treat bags that I actually made myself. I can do a tutorial on how I made those later, but in this video I'm just going to use these I've already made. You can get these on Amazon. They measure 3 inches by 4 inches, so all of my designs are designed around those. So I'm getting ready to place this on. I've got my little Cricut mini press heated up to a setting of medium. That means 2 green dots will be lit up when it's ready to go, and you want to press this for about 25 seconds on that heat setting. Also, when you get done pressing, you want to let this cool completely before you remove that clear transfer tape. Now I'm just adding the next layer of my heat transfer material. You can cover up the layers that you have already applied with just some scrap transfer tape that you removed, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of covering up each layer as I go, and I'm pressing each layer for 25 seconds. I'll leave a link to Cricut's heat guide for different kinds of materials. You do want to press differently for the regular iron-on than you do for the glitter, and also you want to go ahead and make sure that you change your material settings when you're cutting these out for the regular iron-on and the glitter iron-on, because those cut settings will be different. That is all the projects I have for today for making your own tiered tray decor with your Cricut maker. I hope you guys really enjoyed all these projects and ideas. I will definitely leave a link to every project that I used in this video, and I'll also link all the materials specifically that I used so you'll know exactly what I'm using for today's video. If you guys have any other ideas like this for Valentine's Day or for tiered tray decor that you can make with your Cricut machines, I would love to hear those ideas, so leave them in the comments. Also, if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I will see you in the next one.